back. Unofficial Commentators, back at it again. Week what? Week 7 now, man? We're in?
This is week 7. Week 6 is in the books.
Man, football season is flying by, bro.
Scott
Can't believe it.
Woo!
I forgot something. JJ 98 over there. Coach Paki over here. Let's get it going.
Fry, Eagles, fry.
See, you got some company back there, huh?
Man, it feels good.
It should.
Eagles have today.
It should. I mean, we've said it a million times on this show, man. Anything can happen in divisional matchups. But the Eagles and the Giants,
Well,
will play again in 2 weeks.
you got the Raiders, right? The Raiders.
You sound kind of muffled there. I couldn't make out what you were saying. What was that?
What was that? I said, fry, Eagles, fry.
El que gana, el que goza, mi hermano. Have fun. Have fun with it.
Shout out to my Giants fan that watched the show, Ivy Lee, Daryl, anyone else, Giant Nation, Big Blue, we up today. Fry, Eagles, fry. We got a quarterback. We got a running back. Who cares about Malik Neighbors? There's other people there to catch the ball. Woo! Go Big Blue.
I mean, that game is honestly the highlight of this league, right? Because half of our fantasy managers are Giant fans, and then you got a couple Eagles fans in there as well. And I live in Philly, so I think that's basically like the highlight of the week, right? That matchup.
Fry, Eagles, fry.
Anda el diablo. Eso vamos a durar el capítulo entero en esa vaina. No.
It reminds me of when the Eagles ran, was it 5 back-to-back tush pushes, and everybody was
4.
riding high until you decide to fry. That's all your offense. That's all you got. You got nothing if it's not the tush push. You should probably run that shit 50 times. How about that?
I mean, right now you're not far off. I mean, the way that the Eagles are playing right now, you're not far off. It's not looking good.
All right. Well, that was the Thursday night football game, which ended 34-17. The Giants beat the Eagles. Cam Scattergoo got into the end zone 3 times. Not 1, not 2, but 3 times to give the Giants an resounding and overwhelming win. And that was just the stepping stone. That was just the beginning of what was going to happen the rest of that week. As Giants fan over here defeated Philly Eagles fan cousin Juan this week. So sorry I have to be a fan, but fry Eagles, fry boo.
Add Jackson Dart. Add Jackson Dart into that as well, man, with a beautiful performance too, right? So he also scored on the ground as well. So great work.
Scored on the ground, got first downs when he needed to. He even poked his head out there and tried to get a little headbutt. These white boys is crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to win football games. Me being like a football nerd and geeking out on schematics and systems and plays and stuff, but at the end of the day, the one most number one thing, like the top thing that you can use or have to win a football game is when you are
White boys.
when you're more physical than your opponents, right? So when you basically, outstrength your opponents.
Yeah. The secret weapon is out. It's white boys.
That's not that deserves a pause right there. But
this is what beat you guys. That guy right there.
bro, that he looked like any basic dude from Northeast Philly, bro. I swear to God. No, but yeah, like I was saying, dude. I mean, being physical, dude. I mean, the Giants just bullied
from the
me.
Simpsons beat you. That guy that used to eat crayons and watching them face beat you. Woo, qué loco. All right. Well, I was surprised to wake up on Sunday and find that nobody, absolutely nobody, was talking about the Broncos and the Jets. I the week prior when it was the Vikings and who was playing against the Vikings? I forget, but the Vikings were playing, and there was a bunch of talk early in the morning. Justin Jefferson this and touchdowns that. Bro, the score was like 6-3, I think, in halftime. No, it was 10-6 at halftime. The whole thing ended 13-11. That game was terrible.
Yeah, that I mean, honestly, I didn't expect that game to be fun. I said last
Yeah,
week that I was very excited about the morning games on Sundays because it's the one game. I didn't even bother going to my
morning
TV. Like I
prime
was
time.
following it on my, I was following the box score to see if it got interesting, to see if I would go watch the game. But I'm like, I didn't think this was going to be good. I
Nope.
mean, the Broncos are a team that I mean, there's you got to give credit to the Broncos. They're 4-2. They've won some really good games. They've had some good performances in the season, but they are still a team that I feel like plays down to their opponents. They beat the bad
Mm,
ones. They beat the bad ones. It's not that they don't beat the bad ones, but they always make it interesting, right? They have such a good defense, so they hold it down on that side. Then the offense is just they're playing a bad team. Their offense isn't really like putting up a bunch of points either. So I wasn't expecting that game to be that fun. The Jets are a shit show, dude. I mean, I have zero hope or expectation for the Jets, and they just got worse by losing Garrett Wilson. So
yeah, 6 points in the first half. All of them came in the first quarter. Um, Brees Hall was averaging 2.7 yards per carry. As you mentioned, Garrett Wilson goes down with only 3 catches and 13 yards. This was a really ugly game, and I don't feel like we should spend any more time on it. Moving on, with a special start time of
most
about
of
12:35, the Arizona Cardinals played against the Colts. Uh, Not a ton to see here. It was more of a grounded effort by Jonathan Taylor. Yes, put up a lot of yards, only one touchdown this week, as opposed to he's now customary 3 touchdowns, which seems to happen like every other week now. Um, Jacoby Brissett comes in, throws for 320 yards, and has 2 touchdowns in place of Kyler Murray. I am so down on Kyler Murray. I've been down on him forever. He's on my team. I started him a couple times, but I don't know. I think he's droppable in every fantasy format. Um, and I don't. You have to bring him back. You gave him the big contract. You're not going to play Brissett over him if Kyler Murray is healthy. But I I don't think he's the best option for this team.
Kyler Murray reminds me of Derek Carr in the sense that he's good enough to be a football like an NFL starter, but he's already peaked, and his peak is not that exciting. Like
Not
he could give you he can give you one good game here and there, like, oh shit, Kyler Murray had a MVP performance last Sunday, and then you'll see 6 or 7 weeks and nothing happens. It's just boring. Kyler Murray. I mean, people make fun of his size all the time, dude. His size is obviously a problem. Jacoby Brissett actually looked pretty good at, in my opinion, and I personally think the offense looked better with Jacoby Brissett than with Kyler Murray. I don't think they're going to bench Kyler Murray because, like you said, of the contract, but it was flowing a lot better. With Jacoby Brissett.
I mean, very obviously to the tune of 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amari DiMercado gets hurt after the shit show he put up last week. He set up most of the game. Um, they gave some chances to running backs Bam Knight and Michael Carter. They didn't make a lot happen with those touches. Bam Knight does get into the end zone, but outside of that, it was a close game, not necessarily a good game. For some portions of the game, Arizona was even up, but Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones magic.
I
He
mean,
threw an
dude. I mean,
interception at some point in the afternoon, and he comes to the group chat and he goes up.
if
Daniel
you
Jones is blind again, and I think like the play right after that, Jacoby Brissett throws an interception, and it's like it never happened. He just gets wiped straight
if
off
you
the slate.
if you look at the box score and if you see the game, you could make an argument, a very strong argument, that Arizona played a better game. But the key difference is that Daniel Jones and the Colts have been amazing in the red zone, dude. They get an
Yep.
opportunity, they make it happen. And that to me was the big difference in that game, right? That because the Arizona controlled the time of possession, right? Which again, thanks to Jacoby Brissett, like I said, he sustained drives. I liked how the offense looked. You know what I mean? But they lost opportunities in the red zone. You know what I mean? They had some penalties. But dude, at what at what point do we start really taking the Indianapolis Colts seriously in the AFC?
I don't know why you wouldn't already. They're 4-0 at home, 5-1 overall. They are in line. I mean,
Better
we're
better
still,
record than Buffalo and Kansas City, right? Which are supposed to be the
yeah.
favorites because and the Ravens are still probably ranked over them, even though the Ravens are not looking great, right? So, like, at what point do you rank the Colts over these three teams?
Right now, I mean, Kansas
Yeah.
City is surging. They're kind of moving in the right direction. They're going up. They
Mm-hmm.
got 2 wins in a row. Wait, no, that's not true. They lost last week to Jacksonville, but they managed to break even right now. They're at 500, so they're going in the right direction. They're going to get some players back from suspension, some players back from injury, and it's starting to kind of look in the right direction. And honestly, to go 3-3 with the schedule they had, I thought for sure they were going to lose to the Lions this week, and they
Mm-hmm.
won. And this is the point where the schedule starts to get a little bit softer for them. So the Kansas City, as much as you don't like them, they're in a better place right now than they were the first 6 weeks. It's only going to look better from here.
Yeah,
So
man.
if
All these managers that were holding on to Rasheed Rice are going to be so excited, right?
yeah, and Patrick Mahomes, he's making it happen. He's letting the ball loose. He's actually throwing passes. Um, we'll talk about it when we get to that game, but it was a little ridiculous that they called absolutely no penalties. I've seen a couple of social media edits that say that there were penalties to be called, and then refs just swallowed their whistles. But
I
we'll
mean,
we'll,
they
we'll talk
took.
about it when we get there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right, a game that interests our group chat. The Chargers beat the Dolphins 29-27. The
Mm.
Dolphins are now 1-5. I think it's over for them. The conversation has already shifted to are they going to fire Mike McDaniel before the end of the season? Um, it's unlikely given who that team is, but he's definitely on the hot seat if you ask me.
I think there's a 99% chance that he will get fired week 18, if not
Oh,
sooner.
Black Monday. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
Black Monday.
Um, all right. The bright spot here is Devon Achan, 128 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Um, the Chargers really won on a field goal, so not a ton to talk about here. Tua had 3 interceptions. You can argue 2 of them weren't his fault, but this team is every kind of dysfunctional, and it shows in their record, 1-5. Um,
Yeah, and they're one
not a
dimensional. I mean, they're not going to win 10 games like our boy Omar said. That's for sure. So we can scratch that off. Their defense is atrocious, and their offense, even though their offense is putting up points, their offense is still inconsistent. And you got to look at Tua to some degree. I know Omar defends him a lot. Uh, I'm not going to say that they lost because of him, because it is true that they had a chance to win, and it was the defense that lost the game. But we have to be realistic, dude. Tua has been inconsistent. Tua's been inconsistent.
Tuna's been inconsistent, but he is driving the offense. Now with Tyreek Hill out, more people are eating, and it's becoming apparent. They just can't stop anyone, and they're never going to win that way. All right, we move on to the next game, Patriots and Saints. Is there much to say there other than Drake May is looking good?
Yeah, man. Drake May is getting a lot of respect, and I feel like he's getting even more respect because he's in the Patriots. And the media loves to see somebody come up for the Patriots to replace quote unquote Tom Brady. But they did beat the Saints. So hold your
Aside
horses there,
from
buddy.
Drake May, yeah, aside from Drake May looking good, they are 4-2 overall. They're 3-0 on the road. So who would have thought that the Patriots would be road warriors and that they'd be disputing the top spot? They might even be first in that division right now because they beat Buffalo. So there you
Yeah,
go.
I think they're first in the division. And I think that's why everybody's
All
riding
right.
that high horse right now.
Steelers were the team that played against Minnesota out in London or Germany or wherever it was. The Steelers are 4-1. They beat the Browns. No surprises here. Aaron Rodgers still kind of got it. There's some zip on his fastball. Jalen Warren led the rushing attack. Whenever I saw Kenneth Gainwell, he had like a really good boost, but he didn't break any runs, any long runs anyway. Um, I guess you can point to the fact that the Browns are a very stout defense. They have a really strong
They
front
do.
seven. Um, so take that for what it is. But I told you I didn't think Jalen Warren was going to lose his job off of that injury, and it doesn't seem like he did. He still led the way in rushing opportunities and rushing yards.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell was going on with Cleveland's game plan on this one. At the half, this game was 6-9, 6-3, 9-3. Sorry, which was a very close game. And I think Quinshon Judkins had like 4 carries at that point, and they'd had already thrown the ball like 20 times. Like they had 52 pass attempts by Dylan Gabriel. That's ridiculous. Not because I'm hating on Dylan Gabriel. That's a lot for any quarterback, no matter how long they've been playing for. But that's even more for a rookie quarterback. Like you don't put that on a rookie quarterback, dude, especially when you have that defense and that run game. So now the conversation has shifted again back to Shador. I told you it's a matter of time, dude. If they keep losing these games, they don't score touchdowns with Dylan Gabriel. I don't think it's going to be long until they have to shift over to Shador. So that's the big talk, right? And then we'll see what happens. But this game plan by Cleveland was horrible.
And you just shouted out your boy is it Hudkins. Um, I was
I don't
keeping
even
an
know
eye
how
on
the fuck
him.
everybody says it different. I don't even know anymore, bro. That
Well,
guy, the rookie from Ohio State.
yeah. DK Metcalf turned 4 catches into 95 yards and a touchdown. That's a hell of a game. Very quiet, 4 catches, but hell of a game. In a world where every week we're losing wide receivers, DK Metcalf quietly, he's going to put together a good season.
Yeah, man. I mean, he's the one that's had. I mean, he's new in Pittsburgh, just like Aaron Rodgers, but he's the one that's benefited the most from Aaron Rodgers, 100%.
Absolutely. All right. I finally cashed in my number one waiver. I used it to pick up Rico Dowdle.
Woohoo!
And And you might have thought it was a slam dunk. I actually had the thought of, do I start him? Do I go back to Rashid Shaheed? But I was like, no, man, I use this number one waiver pick. It's for something, right? And I don't know what's going to happen with Chuba Hubbard, but until Chuba Hubbard shows up, I'm going to ride Uncle Rico all the way to a couple of wins at least. I don't have the championship yet, but a couple of wins for sure. He was the difference in this game where the Panthers beat the Cowboys 30-27. He was the difference in my fantasy matchup where I beat the cousin Juan. Damn, dude. This guy has over 400 combined all-purpose yards. Rico Dotto is incredible.
You know, first of all, I hate myself because in another league, I picked up Rico Dowdle like in week
You
2,
dropped him.
and then I dropped him. And then as soon as I dropped him, Chuba Hubbard gets hurt, and the guy blows out. But this is the thing that, to me, sometimes it's a blessing with these RB2s when it's like a non-superstar running back that gets the opportunity. He had 23 carries and 4 targets versus Miami, and then he had 30 rushing attempts and 5 targets this week. That's 35 rushing attempts. I feel like, and we'll talk about this maybe later down the road, but I feel like a lot of the teams right now have their star running backs on pitch counts. Like the Eagles with Saquon Barkley makes no sense why he's not running as much. The Browns with Judkins, Hudkins, whatever you want to call him, after using him so much, why'd they slow down all of a sudden? Like I feel like teams tend to take care of their number one running backs in fear of like wearing them out because there's still so much season to play. But when you got a guy like Rico Dotto who's like, well, if we lose him, whatever, dude, he's getting all the opportunities and he's looked amazing, man.
You think a little bit of that is situational, though? I mean, when they're playing from behind, the game plan says pass, right? You want to make up
Yeah,
yards quickly.
I agree, but I don't think the specific examples that I said are situational because even though they were from behind, if you're down by one possession and there's still over a quarter to play, if you're down by two possessions with over a quarter to play, you can still run the ball. You don't have to get away from your game plan. Now, as the clock starts winding down, maybe the second part of the fourth quarter, if you're down by three or more possessions, that's a different story. That's not the case for the Eagles, and that was not the case for the Browns this week either. And both of them slowed back from their running back, from their star running back. So I don't get it. You know what I mean?
The story here is for sure Carolina coming back, winning the game against a weak Dallas defense. Dak Prescott played a hell of a clean game, 261 yards, three touchdowns, zero interceptions, zero sacks, zero fumbles with a 90 QBR. Dude, Dak Prescott is playing unbelievable. It's just a damn shame they're going to waste this season from him.
Yeah, I mean they're in the same situation as Miami. The only difference is that Dak Prescott is better than Tua, and their offense is
I
better than
love
Miami's offense. But their defense is they won't stop anyone, dude. And this is something that everybody knew coming into the season, especially after losing Micah Parsons. So this is what's going to happen with a lot of high scoring points and a lot of high scoring losses.
All right. I don't know if we have to touch every game. The Seahawks beat the Jaguars. They're both 4-2 right now. The Seahawks have won three of their four games on the road. So do with that what you will. Sam Darnold looking good. Smith and Jigba every week.
I'll be at that game next week in Seattle versus Houston. I'm gonna
Ooh,
be there week 7 live, baby.
awesome sauce. Get us some pictures, a little bit of footage, some of your own recorded footage to share it on the show.
I gotta
All
see this
right.
Njigba guy in person.
The Rams now 4-2 beat the Ravens. The Ravens are 1-5. They're looking pitiful right now. They are
Ugh.
nothing without Lamar. Derrick Henry got some yardage, couldn't get into the end zone. Um, there's not much of a story here other than Puka Nacua got hurt. The Ravens defense is awful. That used to be their staple. Now it looks like anybody can score on them. Um, 17 points is a little bit less than what I thought, but our forgotten man, the guy that fell off, Devontae Adams, he had a he had a number of chances to get in the end zone. The ball was just a little bit high, kind of sailed on Stafford a couple times. Even with as tall as Devontae Adams is, I don't think he would have needed a step ladder and still to get those. But game could have been a little different in that Devontae Adams get into the end zone. But honestly, 17-3 and a win, that's all you can basically ask for. You have anything
Um,
else to say about this?
I mean, obviously the whole Puka thing, but dude, 3 points is pitiful. It just proves how valuable Lamar Jackson really is for this offense. And I will say, Baltimore tried to do the tush push back to back times in the goal line, couldn't get a single
Mm,
yard, couldn't get a
nope.
single yard, and then they tried going to Derrick Henry, and he couldn't get in. So I don't think the
He
tush
lost
push
hurts.
is not it's not a layup, as a lot of people say it is. So, but Lamar Jackson will be back, and we'll see what happens. There's still a lot of football to play.
All right. The Raiders beat the Titans. Probably one of the few teams they can actually beat. The Titans, they won that fluke game against Arizona, but they are shit in every way that a team can be shit. In the words of their quarterback, Cam Moore, they ass.
They lost their. I mean, their head coach got fired, so they're about to get worse. this is when you
All
have
right.
the worst team in football from the previous season be the well, they're not technically the worst team in football right now because they have a win. The Jets don't, but they have been horrible, and then they lose their head coach. Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
For what kind of matters to us that are talking fantasy, Ashton Genty gets into the end zone. He didn't look great. I mean, 23 carries to get 75 yards is not amazing numbers. Neither one of the quarterbacks look any kind of great. Brock Bowers is still out on injury, and Calvin Ridley pulls a hamstring. It looked like they had something going last week, and then I think he got one catch. I'll check his score later. He's on my team. He got one catch. I decided to start him over Cooper Cup. Then he immediately gets injured and has to leave. Oh well.
Yeah,
Um,
these Raiders are garbage, bro. Their record is way too it's way too good for how bad they are. Honestly, They're really bad.
All right. So let's not waste so much time on bad teams. We'll move on. The Packers beat the Bengals. Joe Flacco debuts as the Bengals quarterback. As bad as the Bengals offensive line has been, and as bad as I forget his name, JB3, whatever the
Hmm.
backup to Joe Burrow was. Um, as as
Jake
bad as
Browning.
he looked, I mean, yeah, Jake Browning. At least Joe Flacco looked capable of doing something, and he raised the floor on players like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Their ceiling is their ceiling, but
Yeah,
with Jake Browning, their floor had lowered. He raises the floor. Like I'm thinking that the least amount of points they're going to get is still going to be in the double digit range, and that's what you look for, at least in our ambient here in fantasy.
yeah.
The Packers are back to being the Packers. Josh Jacobs is a story. I don't. I want to check. I'm curious what pick Josh Jacobs goes in because I don't know how he doesn't figure into like top three or even one overall. He scores a touchdown. We joke about this, but he scores a touchdown every week. Every week. I think
They're
they said this week when he scored that he has 11 straight weeks scoring touchdowns.
I heard an interesting stat, dude, that there and I don't know if Josh Jacobs is in this list, but um I heard that there's only three running backs all season that have given double digit fantasy points every game that they've played. I'm assuming Josh Jacobs is one of them. And the other two have to be what's his
Jonathan
from the
Taylor and
Colts,
Christian McCaffrey.
Jonathan Taylor and Christian McCaffrey. That's pitiful
Mhm.
for fantasy purposes, dude. So I agree. I think Josh Jacobs was lowballed very much in the fantasy drafts. Because I mean,
He's,
honestly, dude, this
he's
season has been bonkers. I mean, nobody from the first round is any good right now.
he's not a sexy name, but he gets into the end zone all the time. I'm going to keep an eye on him going forward. Okay, in a game where our super producer Dago was in attendance, the 49ers played against the Buccaneers. Takeaways here, everyone in the 49ers is hurt. Thoughts
And
and prayers to
plus more.
Fred Warner. It
Hmm.
looks like they lose a key player every single week. They're still 4-2, which is amazing. They're still vying for like the number one spot in that division. How they're doing that is amazing. It's incredible. It's unbelievable. Mac Jones, 347 yards. The two interceptions, one of them happened to be in garbage time. It kind of like ended the game for him. Uh, but they were really out of it. He was just trying to make something happen when there was nothing there. Rashard White is a hell of a pickup for anyone who lost Bucky Irving to injury. Um, Given the opportunity, Rashard White is really good, but if he ever has to split carries, I mean, it looks like they prefer Bucky Irving. But ride this wave for as long as you can. Ride Rashard White.
Yeah,
65 yards this week, got into the end zone. I'm cool with that.
yeah. I mean,
Kendrick Bourne, you
I
said he
was
wouldn't
told,
have another game like
yeah.
that. He only got 5 catches, but he turned it into 142 yards.
I mean, his first
He's
two catches, he was like at 80 yards or two of the first two catches. No,
yeah,
you're. That was literally what I was about to say. I was totally wrong about Kendrick Bourne, and I have to reassess my analysis now, um, because I think because a lot of people were scared of Kendrick Bourne too because Juwan Jennings came back. I think, and now there's talk about George Kittle coming back soon, and Juwan and Brandon Ayuk is around the corner. So how this affects Kendrick Bourne? I think that based on
what
what
is
I
Ricky
saw from,
Pearsall's injury? Because didn't my man get shot and he still played that season? But what is it that
I,
is that's keeping
I
him out this year?
I think he has a knee sprain or something like that. But we'll look it up to
A
make sure.
knee sprain kept him out longer than being shot.
But
He
the
got
thing that
shot.
what I was about to say is I'm going to reassess my it's a PCL injury that's in the knee. Well, I'm going to reassess my analysis about Kendrick Bourne. I think it has nothing to do with the other pass catchers. I think it has to do with Mac Jones. They played
Mhm.
together in New England, and Mac Jones clearly feels comfortable throwing to him. So I think that Kendrick Bourne is worth having, right? I'm changing my analysis until Brock Purdy comes back. Because I think when Brock Purdy comes back, we will not see Kendrick Bourne again. That's my redone analysis after watching this game on the 49ers. Yeah, man, I don't know how many
Yeah.
more injuries they can sustain, dude. Tampa Bay, though, Baker Mayfield, man. Oh, my God. We got to talk about that every week. He is just so fun to watch, dude. He is. I was like, dude, the Raiders were playing the Titans, and I watched like 2 drives, and I'm like, I'm taking this shit off. Let me go watch the Buccaneers and the 49ers. This is a way better game. I don't give a
I
fuck.
mean, I don't want to say that I fucking told you, but I fucking told you about Baker.
Oh my god, man, so much fun, dude. Emeka Ibuka got hurt, so that kind of sucks, right? We talked so
Yeah.
much about him every week. He's not out for the season. He will be back at some point. But now you have to start asking yourself, like, who is gonna catch the ball for the Buccaneers? Because
Well,
Mike Evans is out, Godwin is out, Ibuka's out.
isn't Godwin back? If he's not
He
all the
got
way
hurt.
back,
He
he's.
got hurt again this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I must have missed that. Blink and you missed it, but it didn't matter. Whoever is out there, Baker Mayfield's gonna make something happen. And this new kid, man, I mean, hell of a play. What is it, Tez Watkins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm looking up his name. Tez
Tez
Johnson.
Johnson.
I
Yeah,
just know him as Tez. That finger to the
that might be a
catch
waiver
was
wire guy.
incredible.
He might be a waiver wire. He might be one of the few waiver wire guys to
I
take a
mean,
look at.
you know he's gonna throw to somebody, so
And I guess, Sterling Shepard, if he's still out there, might as well, right?
I picked him up. I had a situation in another league where uh, it was right before the 4 o'clock games. They were saying that Debo was downgraded to doubtful, and I was like, damn. So do I risk coming to Monday and then dropping him? Then I won't have anyone else to replace him. Um, I went with Sterling Shepard. He did enough. He got some catches. Not great. In a 1 point per reception league, he got me 7 points. So, eh. He got some yak though.
Yeah, I
I
think
used
Tez
to
Johnson
complain.
is. Yeah, I think Tez Johnson's the sexier one, but I mean, right now, and Kate Otten, honestly, he might pick up a lot too.
Hmm, I don't see it with Kate Otten. He's a dump valve, but Baker wants to go for the end zone, and if
Dude, he had a good stretch last season, for a while when they were also having some injuries. So I think they're gonna stretch it out for him a little bit if they because who else? I mean, who else you got, bro? Like they don't have much.
it's,
They don't have
it's going to
much.
become the Tez Johnson game. Let's see. All right, Lions and Chiefs, smack gate. I mean, I guess I already said what I wanted to say. The refs swallowed their whistles. This game was entertaining. I guess I can call it that. It was an entertaining game. Um, Travis
Bro, I
Kelsey
don't
looks
care
done.
what I don't care what the rule book says. Detroit got robbed of a touchdown, of an awesome touchdown that would have been
Oh yeah,
great to break down in the coach's corner. But they fucking ruined it, the refs. And not only did they not even call the flag at the moment, they called it when they were reviewing the fucking play, which tells me if it wasn't a touchdown, they wouldn't have been able to throw in the flag because the only reason they reviewed it was because it was a touchdown. And then they threw the flag after. And to me, it's total bullshit because I saw that shit a million times. And in my opinion, it's my opinion, concluded I'm wrong because I'm not a ref. But Jared Goff was not under center. He never put his hands under the center. He was just standing behind the center and he tapped the center like any receiver would when they're motioning across. And then he motioned away. I disagree so much with that call. I think it's bullshit. And if that is a rule, that rule needs to be fucking changed. If that is a rule, because that is highway robbery. Amon-Ra St. Brown had an awesome block on that play, by the way. I don't know if you picked up on that, dude, but he pancaked the shit out of that corner, right? And Jared Goff was just riding Amon-Ra's back, like all the way into the goal line, into the end zone. I can't believe they got robbed for that touchdown, dude. Fucking refs and fucking Chiefs.
and you know what? That happened so early in the game that I had forgotten about it. But yeah, you are right. That trick play was crazy sauce. Um,
Hmm.
well, Lions are 4-2. The Chiefs are back to 500. Clearly, they want the Chiefs to make a deep run. So it is what it is. Sometimes they're going to break your heart, and they're going to turn some bets around. What was the game that somebody advanced to get a kneel? The cousin one was talking about. Damn,
Did somebody
I
what?
don't have it in front of me right now. Somebody actually advanced the ball to kneel, and he said maybe that had something to do with betting. I think it might have been the Seahawks game.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I'm not the guy who's looking at film so intensely looking for betting errors, but that is interesting. That's something to watch. If I come across any clips or anything like that, I will share with the group and maybe mention something next week. Monday night football, two games. I don't like when they do two games on Monday night football.
Me neither. Takes away from it.
Yeah, yeah. The Bills didn't look great. They just couldn't get it going on offense. Bijan Robinson is amazing. Uh, Fumbled on his first carry, I believe. He got taken back. And then after that, he just made everything happen. 170 yards on 19 uh, carries. That's almost 20 yards per carry and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson, real deal.
I think Bijan was the third running back, not Josh Jacobs that had double digits. Because Josh Jacobs had 1 week where he didn't have double digits. I just looked it up. I think Bijan is that third back. Dude, is he the real deal? I mean, God damn it, man, that dude was amazing. I think he was the main reason why the Falcons upset Buffalo. And it wasn't even close. 19, dude, 8.9 yards average. That's some college type numbers. Nobody puts that up in the NFL. 100% it was him. Oh my
Anything?
god! And then 11. He also like 68 yards catching, 170 yards rushing. You crazy? Like Michael Penix had 250 yards throwing. Bijan Robinson had 240 yards overall.
Drake London gets 10 catches, 158 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah, this was
Amazing.
just, I mean, almost domination. It was about as good a game as Atlanta could have played there. The Bills
Yeah.
didn't look great. Is this their second loss in a row?
It is, and I was watching the game on and off. I wasn't fully like able to watch the game, but what I did notice was number one. I mean, the amount of penalties Buffalo was compiling, and not just the amount of penalties, but the penalties were just the timing of the penalties were horrible. Um, Josh Allen wasn't able to. I'm gonna say Buffalo, but it falls on Josh Allen. He is normally amazing on third down. They were not good on third down. That's also part of the reason why they lost. Um, so this was definitely a surprise to me because this was not a divisional matchup. So I expected Buffalo to win this game, and it did not go that way.
Another game that didn't go the way I expected. The Bears beat the Commanders. The Commanders are okay, a little banged up, but overall they got all their pieces back. I would have expected them to beat the Bears handedly. But no, the
They
Bears
don't.
kind of showed
They
up.
they don't have all their pieces back. We're still waiting on Terry McLaurin, by the way. So
Yeah,
not all the pieces are back, but they did have Jaden Daniels back.
they got Daniel Daniels. Debo played and banged up, but when is he not? They got both of their running backs, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Um, Kind of gave that game away, but I like the kid overall. I think he should still get his chances. And then those are things that rookies are going to do. The Bears
Yeah.
scored somehow, some way in every quarter, even if it was just a field goal. And they just kind of came up with the right plays at the right time. Nobody looked outstandingly special. You could maybe point to DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
Um, he
DeAndre
gets
Swift had
into
a
the
great
end
game.
zone.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets into the end zone. He controls a lot of the ball. I mean, 14 carries for 108 yards. I mean, they were long rushes, but it's not like a grinded out kind of pace where they're like killing a lot of clock. They were making it happen pretty quickly. Um,
Yeah, and the turnovers was an issue for Washington too, but this is where you really have to start giving credit to Ben Johnson. I personally think the way that I've seen the Bears evolve week to week offensively, Ben Johnson was just as expected to be, right? Because remember, he was the guru behind Detroit's offense last year. Um, but it almost feels like Caleb Williams is holding Ben Johnson in this offense back. Like they look good, but it's like dude, they could look so much better. You know what I mean? You know, Caleb Williams had an okay game. He had a fine game. I'm not gonna, but Caleb Williams just seems like so lost at times. Like his scrambles seem so unnecessary for so many plays.
So
It
this is
just
his
takes away
second
from the
year,
offense.
and
Yeah,
he's on his second coach already. I would expect some struggles,
yeah, yeah. But kudos to
but
Ben Johnson,
yeah,
man. Kudos to Ben
yeah,
Johnson.
like you
Yeah.
said, even through the some struggles, he still seems to be getting better. All right, let us move on to the results of the League of Haters Week 6. Um, we're going to be quick here. Most games were not close. I guess the closest matchup here was La Maldición Inca, now in second place at 5-1, beats Gigante's team GAD. A lot of this kind of played out as expected. Uh, Now, had Maldición Inca started Patrick Mahomes, this would have been hands down, you win by 20 points. He went with Jordan Love. Interesting. Maybe it was the thought of facing Cincinnati, but you got to strike while the iron's hot. And right now, Patrick Mahomes is hot. So use him until he wears out. Maldición Inca had Jackson Smith and Jigba, Drake London, amazing games. Everyone else kind of scored in single digits. Jake Ferguson had an ordinary game. Just after you shouted him out, too, he was doing amazing. I think he might have been at a certain point the best tight end in the league.
Yeah.
He's kind of had a pedestrian game. In a game where the Cowboys scored a lot, he didn't do too much. He just got you 10.8 fantasy points in our league with half point PPR. On the other end, Baker Mayfield, he held his own. For having scored 30 points, he only got 18 of the fantasy points. The receivers for GAD were kind of flat this week. Amon St. Brown, only 8 fantasy points. Marvin Harrison, 4 fantasy points. Josh Jacobs, despite his best efforts, this wasn't enough to overtake Monday. Even though he went into Monday up, I don't
Hmm.
think anybody could have expected the performance that Drake London got. That's actually what put this game over the edge for
Hmm.
Monday. So that was the closest matchup, the one that came down literally to the wire. It came down to the last possible game for him to get the win. The biggest blowout this week was the system beating Joel Vasquez. You already mentioned in the group chat that Gary's team, the system, scores 154 points, and you
That's
highlighted
insane.
that in this game there was a 0 from Taekwon Thornton. There was only zero point 0.5 points from Fred Warner. And with all of that, he had high double digits for Justin Herbert, George Pickens, Landon Conakry, Jonathan Taylor, and Bijan Robinson to the tune of 154 points. Biggest blowout of the week.
Dude, so
Uh,
it's interesting. Wait, real quick, real quick. Remember I said there's only three running backs that have double digits? Bijan and Jonathan Taylor are two of those three, and fucking Gary has them both. It's gonna be hard to beat this guy, bro.
Interesting. All right. Two Girls, One Cup beats Throwing Hurts. Um, I had a feeling I was going to win when by 1 o'clock on Sunday, Cousin One had already used up 6 players and only touched 50 points. Um,
The
when my
Cousin Bowl.
players got going, when my players got going, I was feeling good. I was feeling confident. I tried to drum up some trash talk. He was surprisingly quiet this week. Um,
You stood
Puka
on business with
Nacua
Sam
hurt me.
Darnold. You stood on
Calvin
business with Sam
really hurt
Darnold.
me. I did. Yeah, Sam Darnold definitely pulled me through. Christian McCaffrey did his thing, but this game this week isn't possible if not for picking up Rico Dottle. I held on to the number one pick in waivers all the way through to week 6. And when I cashed in big. I couldn't have done it
Mm.
without him. The San Laporta touchdown put me over the edge. It made it so that I was unreachable. Matt Prater only contributed to that was his only hope at the end. Matt Prater, the kicker. There was a chance that maybe the kicker would have given him enough. to win, but nope, it was not to be the case. Only 2 extra points. Maybe if Buffalo would have scored 26 touchdowns, you would have had a chance against me.
Let me ask you something, Jay. Is there a better feeling in fantasy than when your waiver wire pick wins you the fucking
No,
match with a fucking like honestly better than any
no,
draft pick? I think that's got to be like the number one feeling in fantasy. That's I can't think of anything else cooler than that. To be honest with you, that's the best.
I I think so. A lot of our players actually canceled out because Devon Achane also scored 30 points. But yeah,
He wasn't a
this
waiver
game
wire
is
pick.
impossible. Yeah,
That's what you
I'm
expect
just talking
from him.
about. Yeah, I'm talking about my 30 points got
Yeah,
canceled out by his 30 points. Neither of our receivers. There's four receivers on the top of that order that did nothing. I think you add them all up, and between the four of them, they don't get to 30 points. It was a really weak day receiver wise. It was the running backs games for sure. The Lion Kings. What is this? Three in a row for you?
no, I lost last week by 1 point, bro. It would have been three in a row.
Well,
I
you're
lost
back
by
to
one
500,
point.
3-3. You're the Kansas City Chiefs of this week. You beat screenshots. I think I picked against you this past week.
You should
A
know better.
lot of disappointing efforts here. Oh
Not from
man.
that white boy behind you. He's on my team. He's on my team. I ain't complaining.
Another 30 points. When I said a lot of disappointing, I was talking about
I
screenshots,
know.
given that I picked
I
them.
know.
Um, John Shannon should have made this a little bit closer, but damn, Debo Samuel's only giving you 3 points. Hurts. Chase Brown, he's not really doing much. That 2 point conversion. Without the 2 point conversion, Chase Brown ends up with like less than 6 fantasy points. That's super weak. Mark Andrews, the forgotten guy in that offense. And Brees Hall. Poor guy. Yeah. I, I don't think I can pick any team that's counting on Jets to win them games.
Dude, you want to
The
know
Atlanta
when you're like
Falcons have lost three in a row, dude. That's terrible. They were number one overall at some point, and look at them
didn't
jumping
they get
three
like
in
a
a row, barely holding on to a
didn't
playoff
they get like
spot.
the best didn't they get like the best draft score or something? Was it them?
No, I think it was me.
Oh, okay. I wasn't
I had
sure.
the best draft score, but it was contemplating whether or not I was going to have Joe Burrow, which I lost early on. So yeah, that draft score went out the window. Um, just everything that could go wrong for this team kind of did this week. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're almost literally a boomer bust team. Um, Jared Goff, if he gets into the end zone, this game looks a whole lot differently. I already told you about Devontae Adams and how they overthrew him several times in the end zone. He
Mm-hmm.
could have had possibly 2 touchdowns. Stephon Diggs kind of come back to reality game. Um, Drake May, I said when it happened live, Drake May was throwing booty open all week, all game. It was is it Kendrick Booty? Forget his first name, but whatever his first name is, I know his last
It's
name is
booty.
Booty.
Yeah, it's
Booty
booty.
game.
It's booty. It's booty.
It was a booty game last week. So yeah, maybe Stephon Diggs step ups again next week. Um, just kind of
I
took a
would
week
say
off.
how do you have well no Booty's not on this team, is he? Wait, hold on. Am I tripping? I
I
was
don't
gonna
think
say
Booty is on any
because I'm
teams.
saying I was about to say because if you own Booty, like there would be so many like just fantasy name opportunities if you if you own Booty. Just for that, I'd probably draft him.
Well, Booty got his booty owned. Even in a game where Emeka Ibuka gets injured early in the game, and Tua really gave you nothing. What you
Hmm.
did get in this game was enough to win. 97 points, the lowest winning score this week.
I mean, his kicker carried him,
Uh,
man.
El Monte Candela, 130 points. Another boomer bust team, man. This is the second highest scoring total this week for a team that's currently in ninth place, 2-4. The two wins are either the highest score or the second highest score, as it is this week. Really poor week from the Purge. I expected a lot more from them. After Dak Prescott, nobody there did anything of note.
Monty
Nobody.
on that Monty on that waiver wire high, just like you with Kendrick Bourne, man. He hit that.
Yep. You played that lottery and you got it.
Hmm.
AJ Brown got some catches. DK Metcalf gets into the end zone. Like, again, quiet game. Jahmyr Gibbs, it looked while I was watching the game like I was running well, but this week really belonged to DeAndre Swift and Kendrick Bourne.
What do you do with Kyle Pitts as a fantasy owner?
This is about as good a game as they could have possibly had. Um, Tight end is always the thinnest position in in fantasy. To be honest with you, if you drafted him, wherever you drafted him was too high, and you have to start him.
Hmm.
I don't know that you waited and picked up Kyle Pitts, and then you also got a tight end backup who's so awesome. I mean, you got T.J. Hawkinson, maybe, but in
The Purge look
general,
like the Purge looking like the 49ers right now. Garrett Wilson out, Bucky Irving out, CeeDee Lamb out, Brock Purdy out.
yeah, he's got to do something.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm hoping that Benito's willing to negotiate, do something. I mean, try to get your week back on track before it goes too far. Currently 1-5, 11th overall, and you just lost to one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. In general, this week he was amazing, but in general, one of the lowest scoring teams. Anyone else that we didn't mention here? I think we covered all of the matchups. So moving on to
Mm-hmm.
week 7.
Dessert.
All right. So in week 7, we have two teams on bye. It's the Buffalo Bills and it's the Baltimore Ravens. That
Mm.
means that owners of Josh Allen and Derrick Henry are probably going to be starving for a little bit of help. Is there anything that you can think of on the waiver wire that you would go and pick for someone who needs a quarterback in place of? Well, you probably weren't going to have Lamar
Um,
Jackson anyway because of the injury, but if he was still available, what are the quarterbacks
I'm.
that are kind of on the wire that you can still hit your wagon to?
I
Anybody
mean, I'm
worth
hoping that you
running
have.
for
I'm
one?
hoping that you have. I'm hoping that you have a backup for both of those players for when they have a bye week in your bench. But if we're looking at our league, dude, there's nothing here, dude. I mean, the most I can probably make an argument for is maybe Aaron Rodgers or Michael Penix. And if you want to take gamble on somebody that might have a good week, is Joe Flacco because he is in a better offense. Other than that, dude, there's nothing there for quarterback. I mean, I'm not picking up Justin Fields. You know what I mean?
When
And
you're
for running
when you're
backs,
streaming,
honestly, ooh,
hold on, before running backs, when you're streaming players, whether they be quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, or whatever, do you not look at the defenses? You mentioned Joe Flacco because of the good offense, but it's a stream, right? You're just kind of trying to plug a week while your starter gets back. So
hmm
why not take Aaron Rodgers against Cincinnati? He's still available in our league.
yeah, that's a good point.
Dylan
It's
Gabriel's playing
just
against Miami. We said they're a terrible
I
defense.
wouldn't pick Dylan Gabriel over any. It doesn't. If anything, I think Judkins should have a better game than Dylan Gabriel. I don't. It is
Bryce
one
Young
week.
is
You're
going to
100
play
percent right
against the
about.
Jets.
You're 100% right about the matchup. It's just so difficult because um, there's just not many options, right? So and there was injuries this week as well. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
I can't imagine that too many people in too many leagues own Bryce Young. It says he's only rostered in 22% of leagues going up against the Jets. I mean, if you're just looking to plug somebody for 1 week and get the most out of them, I think the Jets are a decent, opportunity to plug and play. For
Uh,
me, I mean, Aaron Rodgers only rostered in 20% of leagues. That's the trend. That's crazy, bro. CJ Stroud is rostered in more leagues than Aaron Rodgers. I would take Aaron Rodgers this week, Thursday Night Football against Cincinnati for sure.
yeah, that would be my first. That or Michael Penix. Those are my options. And then Joe Flacco was the last one I mentioned. But yeah,
All right.
because Michael Penix is going versus San Francisco, but San Francisco did not look the same after Fred Warner went
No,
down.
you're right. Okay. Running backs, who steps in place of Derrick Henry?
Dude, we talked about this last week, man, with the Chargers. Haskins was supposed to be the starter. Kamani Vidal got sent to the practice squad, and I said it in here. And I should have trusted my gut. I should have picked him up because I said if Vidal was the one that was on the field the last drive, and he looked pretty good, and then they went and sent him to the practice squad. And I know that was a reason for that contract was a reason for that to avoid paying him. They brought him back in, and he's clearly the number one for the Chargers. He is currently on the waiver wire, and I think that's going to be the hottest pick this week on the waiver wire. I think a lot of people are going to be jumping on him, including myself. I'm saying it right now. I'm putting a waiver claim on him. That's other than that. I mean, dude, that's the only one that I would waste my time on. There's also
He's
Bam
only
Knight.
owned in 30% of leagues. So there's a chance that he's available in whatever league is watching this. Bam Knight, you think he steps up for Arizona?
He was supposed to be the starter. He kind of shared a 50-50 with Michael Carter, but he did get the goal line touch. He shared a 50-50 split towards the end of the game, but Michael Carter was the one that was getting more touches at the beginning of the game, which was kind of concerning. But Bam
Is
Knight
Di
is supposed
Mercado
to
not
take
back?
the lead
Is
role.
he expected to
Yeah,
miss this week too?
he's in the doghouse, as they call it. He's back. He got one carry. He is not getting the ball.
Well, he has an injury designation. There's a D next to his name for doubtful. He got
Yeah, but
benched without getting hurt.
he definitely played. He got if you look at the box score, he did get a carry. Maybe that's when he got hurt. But he was not a part of he was not going to be the first or second string running back going into this game. And I know because I picked up Bam Knight in another league because they said that he was going to be the starter.
All right, so let's not overthink this. Clearly, the number one rushing option in available for waivers is going to be Kamani Vidal. Not a great matchup this week, though. He's going up against the Colts. The Colts are stout. Any receivers worth picking up or even looking at? You lost Ibuka. Sterling Shepard is still available. Only rostered in 5% of leagues. Darius Slayton is only rostered in 24% of leagues. I don't
We
know that any receiver has really stepped up for the Giants. It's kind of been the Scatterboo show.
Yeah, I mean we talked earlier about Tess Johnson for the Bucks. I think the Bucks is where I'm looking. You know, whether it's Tess Johnson or Sterling Shepard. One of them has to do something for that team. I mean, because they're just going to have to play every snap. So that's what I would be looking for. I don't know if it's going to pay out, but at least you know they're going to be on the field. So that's where my eyes are going.
I think so.
Kayshon Boutte is free there as well after that amazing week that he had, but he's been pretty much invisible the entire season leading up to this past week. So it's up to you if you want
He's
to take a
inconsistent. I
flyer on
think
that one
he
as
he
well.
showed up week one, but he's inconsistent for sure. He's going up against Tennessee, not a great matchup, and it's according to Yahoo here, there's a little rain icon next to that game, so it might be raining that game. Not a great situational pickup for Kayshon Boutte. I don't think he repeats the week that he has this week anyway. Kate Otten is still available in most fantasy leagues, only rostered in 13% of leagues. If you're looking to replace Kyle Pitts, wait until he gets going this week against Detroit. Kind of a toss up, but again, given the fact that there are so few pass catchers in Tampa Bay, it might be worth a look at least at Kate Otten. I think I
Yeah,
lost Brent
yeah,
Strange. I don't know if I already dropped him and if I replaced him with anyone. I think that might have been who I dropped to get Rico Dowdle. I might take a swing at Kate Otten.
yeah.
But
Like I said, I think he's gonna have. Think about it this way: he's definitely got to get at least more goal line opportunities, right? Without any of these guys that we talked about
okay, yep,
for the
I
minimum.
agree. All right. Okay, so let's get into these picks. I think we've talked a lot and a long time about a lot of these matchups, these games. We covered all the games this week, despite the fact that I didn't want to touch on every single one of them. But we still ended up talking about all of them. So let's do this about as quickly as we can. In week 7, the week 7 matchups are the number one team, the system, currently 5-1, going up against another 5-1, La Maldición Inca. Um, I'm not going to stress this too much. Fuck Gary. I'm going to pick Joe Reyes, my man, my brother. He's starting Patrick Mahomes this week. This is wise against the Las Vegas Raiders. He should catch a wreck. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Houston's defense has been garbage. Jackson Smith Jigba has been dependable. He's there every single week. I don't see why this week would be an exception. Drake London coming off a big game against San Francisco. Um, the color designation on when it's a good matchup versus when it's a bad matchup for a player, it's neutral against San Francisco, but again, these are all things that happened prior to losing Fred Warner. I think
Hmm.
this team is going to look a lot different. He gets Jordan Mason back this week. Wow. You're starting Darren Waller. I don't know. I think I would take my chances with Romeo Dobbs in this situation. Even Quentin Johnson. I don't think he's as bad as we last saw him. And all things considered, with these matchups, the way that they are right now, I'm going to go with Maldición Inca. Fuck Gary.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going against Gary. You're crazy. Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, George Pickens, Lad McConkey. No, man. Travis Kelsey has been pretty good fantasy wise. Again, putting up double digit numbers. Easy one for me, bro. I am picking the system.
Ooh. All right, let me see. The third overall team is GAD. Giga's team. He's actually playing you this week. Ooh. Baker
Mm-hmm.
Mayfield, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marvin Harrison, Josh Jacobs. All of them had disappointing weeks. I don't look to them to have that kind of a week this week. Tate, Tate, Tyler, I don't even know how to say this shit. McMillan, the receiver for Carolina, going up against the Jets. I don't know. I think he's a rookie. I'm not certain that I'm totally sold on him. I'm definitely more of a believer in the Carolina offense than I am in the Titans offense, and it's a good matchup if there ever was one against the Jets. Even though the only part of the Jets defense that's any good is Sauce Gardner, so. But given what you have available to start, otherwise, I think this is your best bet. I would consider putting in Travis Etienne in place of James Cook. I think I'm gonna go with Geeka this week.
Yeah, you're crazy, bro. I can't pick against myself. And I got Nico Collins back. I got the white boys. I got Judkins versus Miami. Um, yeah, I'm winning this one, bro. Easy. I'm not even wasting any time on this.
You know what? I think I pick against you every week, and then you win every week. So let's not mess with a
Yeah,
good thing.
keep it going. I like it.
The fourth overall team, 4-2, two girls, one cup, is going up against the 1-5. But don't pay too much attention to that record. They're better than the record would indicate. The screenshots 2024. Screenshots 2024 is playing an uphill battle.
Hmm.
He's going to be out, Josh Allen. Um, a lot of my week is going to be riding on what happens with some of these injury designations. If I'm not counting on double digit Puka again, it's going to be hard. I'm going to ride it out another week with Rico Dowdle. He's projecting less than 10 fantasy points, and I don't know why he would. Have they said anything about Chuba Hubbard coming back this week?
Even if he does, the question is, will that affect Donald at all? I was watching Red Zone, and they just kept focusing back to Chuba Hubbard every time Rick O'Donnell carried the ball for
Did
12
anything?
yards. It's like you could see like the worry in his face. You could see it. I don't know if he's gonna get his full job back.
Uh, I may bring Jalen Warren back up to the starting lineup. Kenneth Walker is a player that's worrying me. I don't know what's going on
Hmm.
there. But yeah,
I
like you
think
said, why the hell would I ever pick against me? Hell no. Hell to the no, no, no. I'm picking my team. No Josh
yeah.
Allen on the other side. No Mark Andrews. I think I would have been better off if Mark Andrews was there. And I have no idea why the fuck Chase Brown continues to project double digits, seeing how shit Chase Brown is.
Yeah, and his replacement is probably going to be Trevor Lawrence going up against the Rams, who have been amazing on defense. You have to wonder if maybe it would be better to pick up Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean, than starting Trevor Lawrence this week. Yeah, I'm picking you on this one, man. Those bye weeks are brutal. And Chase
Yikes.
Brown on Thursday night versus Pittsburgh. I don't know.
Chase Brown sucks. I don't know what the hell. Was Joe Burrow making him that much better? I have no idea. Woo!
Yes.
Look at this week. All right. So going from the fourth team overall in their matchup, there's the 15th overall is Throwing Hurts playing against Tuatalogoy. Both teams are 3-3. But Cousin Juan is in the playoffs. If the season ended today, Tuatalogoy is not, or is he? Are we letting 7 teams in this year? I forget. Anyway, 3-3 versus 3-3. They both can't lose. I keep saying every week how I can't pick a team with so many Dolphins, and they somehow pull it off. But I just played Throwing Hurts, and he's always a tougher route than his projection would indicate. I'm going with Cousin Juan this week.
Yeah, but I think the Emeka Ibuka thing is gonna hurt. You know what I mean? Um, to Saquon, is he gonna come back? Like, are the Eagles gonna start using him again? I don't know. So those are the questions, right? That you have to look at. But um, it's gonna be interesting because you got Tua, Jalen Waddle. How many Miami Dolphins you got in here? Oh, well, another one on defense. But then you have Devon Achan on the other side, right? So, and he's better than both Tua and Jalen Waddle. So just because of that, I'm gonna go with throwing Hurts on this one. Because if Miami does have a good game, Achan is probably gonna be the reason why. Noah Buka on the other side. I'm gonna go with Achan.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe
Jalen
throwing
Hurts,
Hurts.
vultures, Saquon's, touchdowns. So even if he does have a decent game, he may not get into the end zone, at least not as frequently as he would want to.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Smith is just kind of Devontae Smith. Cortland Sutton needs to bounce back and probably will bounce back against the Giants. Devon A. Chain, you already know he's good. Uh, expect low numbers from Aston Genty again. Theo Johnson and Alec Ayomanar, these are probably players that you can avoid starting. Although, if you have nobody else to start, Alec Ayomanar, I don't want anything to do with the Titans offense, but
Mm.
likely no Calvin Ridley, so maybe the game plan says throw to him early and often. Um, Alec Eomina had a chance to get into the end zone. He dropped one. I don't even think he dropped it. It was going to be a hard catch no matter what. He would had to do something spectacular. But if he gets into the end zone, it would have been a different story for our matchup. Um, they're looking for him. They just have to get the timing right between him and Cam Ward. Um, all in all, you go in there, you replace a couple of defensive players, you put in a kicker, and sub out for a different tight end. We already talked about K. Dot, and I don't know if Cousin Juan has a waiver pick that he's willing to use on him. But yeah, it's throwing hurts this week for sure. The
Yeah,
16
I
overall,
Jameson. I was just gonna say real quick. Jameson Williams is such a tough player to have on your team. I never bench him if I do have him because he probably won't do much, but he'll always have at least 1 week where he puts up a ton of points, and he did that for throwing Hurts this past week in his bench. So
yeah, I just don't know if you do that 2 weeks in a row.
I don't bench him because you never know.
Yep. All right. We both picked throwing hurts. We move on. 16th overall, the Wakanda Panthers, currently at 3-3, having dropped 3 in a row. Oof, is going up against the Purge, who put up probably the lowest score this week.
Hmm.
Oh man, this isn't. These two teams are kind of free falling, and they need to right the ship and do it quickly. All that being said, I like a lot of the talent on the Purge. I'm still gonna go with the Wakanda Panthers. Jared Goff has something to prove. It's going to be a hell of a game. 7 p.m. on Monday. The Lions and the Bucks. Hell of a game.
Mm. It's gonna be fun.
Devontae Adams against the Jaguars. If Puka Nakua does not play, it's going to be a heavy Devontae Adams game. Stephon Diggs, he's going to get chances. The defense the offense for Tennessee is such shit that I can imagine a ton of 3-and-outs, and all the while the ball is with New England, this just raises the chances of Stephon Diggs getting catches. I like Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt to have a bounce back game, especially against Dallas. We still don't know what's going on with Brock Bowers. Dave Montgomery's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Panthers.
Brock Bowers probably won't play again. I'll tell you that right now. Because they have a bye week the next week, so they're probably gonna sit him this week, let him rest a bye week, and then bring him back week 9. That would be. So he's probably going to need to get some help at tight end because his two tight ends are both in Buffalo, which are both on a bye week. Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. But even then, I'm still going with Wakanda Panthers. If that's his only problem is tight end, I'm still going with Wakanda Panthers. I mean, no Garrett Wilson on the other side.
Zay Flowers is on by.
Say, Kyle Pitts is, like I said, I mean, T.J. Hawkinson will probably get the start, but he hasn't been great either, and his bench is just fully hurt. I'm guessing Josh Downs would probably be bumped up, but that he's a boomer bust type player. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Wakanda Panthers on this one.
All right, we're having so much fun, man. I just got the little notice my microphone is about to die. So what's the matchup that's left? We have the ninth overall in Monte Candela playing against Joel Vasquez. Uh, Dude, I feel like every time I go up against Monty, he has an amazing game. I actually had him last week, and I changed my pick last minute because you picked him, and I didn't want to be on the same side. I wanted to create some separation. That came back to bite me in the ass. I like a lot of elements on this team. I'm going to go with Monte Candela. Bo Nix against the Giants is just a good matchup for him. DK Metcalf against Cincinnati, another great matchup. I like Jameer Gibbs. I just like everything about how this kid plays. Kendrick Bourne right now is projecting 4 fantasy points. That's insane. I don't think Brock Purdy's back yet. And like you said, ride Kendrick Bourne as long as Mac Jones is around. I'm going to go and pick in Monte Candela this week to beat Joel Vasquez.
And he gets Rashee Rice back. Sneaky good team, Monte Candela. Very sneaky good team. I feel like we kind of trashed on this team a couple weeks ago, and it's kind of like taking form, man. Ramondre Stevenson on Joel Vasquez's side, like all the Patriots running backs are kind of ass right now, so I don't trust any of them. Xavier Worthy, is he going to be better, or is he going to take a hit with Rashee Rice back? I don't know. We'll find out. You know what I mean? So, I like Monte Candela for this one, and I'm gonna go with Monte Candela for sure.
All right. So as I said before, I'm at the end of my battery, so I believe this is where we need to cut it. So we made our picks. No coach's corner this week, but you
Thanks to
promised
the
us that
Chiefs
you would.
flags.
Yeah. You're well. I would still like to know what that play was intended to look like, and maybe if you slow it down, you can point to me where there was no fault to be done. And I'm interested. I'll give you a week to work on it. So much talk
They just
is,
got to
is
change the
made.
fucking rule.
Yeah. So much talk about who has a good offensive line, who doesn't have a good offensive line. You told me that Joe Flacco better raise the rates on his life insurance policy if he was going to go and play in Cincinnati. But he looked very capable, and I don't think he was under a ton of pressure either. With a team that was meant to put pressure on him. I mean, Green Bay should have actually put the screws to him, and they didn't. So, um, if you get a chance, I want to know what makes a good offensive line.
Yeah, we'll go over that next. You want to go over that now, or you want to go over that next week? Because we can go over that next week as well.
I'll
But
give
for
you
the
next
most
week.
part, I mean, but just in basic terms, I know a lot of people would just say, "Well, people that block, right?" But offensive line is such a technical and position, and there's so many ins and outs into
All
that
right, no
position.
problem. No problem. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, yeah, all right, sounds good to me.
Yeah. No interceptions for Joe Flacco. Only one sack, and it was for 6 yards. I don't know if he just plays a lot smarter than Jake Browning, or maybe when you play with this, you don't
Yeah,
necessarily need 10 seconds to get a playoff.
yeah, I didn't see the game. Maybe there was a lot of quick game and screens involved. I'd have to see what happened. Right, that's also a possibility. But we'll definitely be looking forward to seeing that. But the fact is, the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line
45
is not
passes
good.
for Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that offensive line is not good. That's a fact.
45 passes
Yes,
for a guy that's
sir.
almost.
All right.
I think that's almost his age. 45 years old. All right, dude. This was fun. Let's do it again next week. Paki, League Haters,
All right.
JJ Noel, we out.
Peace.
Skadaboo!
we go.